What's going on, Android developers? Today we are going to learn about authentication using email and password to send our email verification and to learn about user IDs, because it's very important to learn about all this kind of stuff when we're creating an application such as a chat application, which is what we are doing. Let's level up our coding knowledge a bit more with Firebase in 2024. Droidly Codes. Welcome back, Sketchware Android developers. Android developers, I mean, as in you are developing a crazy awesome application using Sketchware Pro and block coding and Java. So yes, Sketchware is a tool to create some Java applications using Sketchware, using Android's libraries, and much more. So that is what Sketchware is, and what we're doing in this series is creating a Firebase application covering everything to do with Firebase, including what we did last time, which was uploading these images as you see here to our Firebase storage and then viewing them in a custom list view, because we ended up uploading the data of each one of these images to our database, which we also set up so that we can actually view them in this actual list view. So the next thing we want to do is actually create an authentication part of our application using email and password. So the first thing we need to do that, we need to go into our application. We need to go into authentication on the left-hand side, and we need to click on sign in method. Now in sign in method, we need to make sure that we enable our email and password by clicking on this and clicking enable, click save. Now we have email and password enabled. Now, if you click on users, we have no users in here right now, and that is because we haven't basically signed up anybody with a username and password. Now, this is something that's going to be really awesome for when we work on the next video guide, where we send our user's unique ID, which is called a UID, to the database, and then the user that is logged in successfully after they verify their email can actually edit their profile and stuff like that. So let's go back into Sketchware for a moment. The next thing you have to do, you need to download the custom blocks. There's one custom block in here literally right now, at least. I might add more later on. That is just for Firebase authentication. So download that in the link in the description below. And then we're going to go to component at the top right hand side. We're going to click the plus icon. Then we're going to subscribe to the channel because you love coding and you want to learn how to code with me, Mr. DNA, on Droidly Codes. This is a new rebranded channel that I am keeping up to date with all the new latest features of Android, all the way from Android 8 and above, so that you guys can code some awesome applications that you can actually upload to the Google Play Store in the end, or just share with your friends. This will be a cool chat application that you can just have your own private chat application between you and your friends that nobody else can have, and you can only give it to your friends if you want to. So let's go to Firebase Auth. Now we're going to just type in here auth, just to keep it simple. Click add. Now this drop down menu, we're going to do two things. So in this drop down menu, sorry about that, we're going to go into on sign in complete. So on sign in user complete, which is this one, and then we're going to go into on create user complete. We're only going to work with those two today. We're going to work with resetting the password and stuff like that in our next guide, but for today we're going to keep it super simple with on create user complete and on sign user complete. The next thing we're going to do is go back, go to view, and we're going to create two buttons. We're going to create a button to create the user and a button to sign in the user and check if the user is signed in. So let's rename these button IDs. One is going to be called create user, and then go down to text so that we know which button is which. Create user. Next, we're going to go down to the other button and we're going to go sign in user. So just keep it simple, sign in user and sign in user. Now the main thing you're going to do is make sure you're using an actual email and password. Otherwise, if you want to use passwordless sign in, or you don't even care about if they have to authenticate their email, which I highly recommend you do because people will spam things, then we're going to be using the actual verification process of confirming your email. So let's go to event. Let's go down to create user. We're going to click the puzzle icon, go down to component, scroll all the way down until you see Firebase Authentication. It'll be all the way down here somewhere. And there it is right there. So when we create a username and password, I'm going to use a generic email and password, which is just my email that's associated with this, which is DNA app development. And I'm going to create a generic password that's up to 8 characters. And that password is just going to be password test 1, just like so. Okay, just remember that password and that email that you use. So we're going to create our user. Now, everything that is handled when we create the user is going to be in the component section of our application called on create user complete. So what we're going to do in here is we're going to go to our puzzle icon, go to the control icon, do an if and else statement. If successful, we are going to do something. So the next thing we're going to do is go to our component again. And I like to create a dialog. A dialog window is something like what you're seeing right now on the screen. This is just a dialog window that is showing over top of your application. So technically what we're typing in right now is a dialog window. So just type in dialog just like so. And then you're going to scroll down until you see the blocks for the dialog. So keep going. There it is right there. And then set message, OK button, and show. Okay, so these are all the dialog blocks that we're going to be using for this. Set title is going to be email verification. Set message is going to be we sent an email to you to verify for whatever your app name is. So Fire Chat, whatever we name this. Make sure you check that, check your spam. You can type in whatever you want in here and then press OK. So I added another block. So you'll see another block inside of the download link. And when you go down into Firebase Authentication, you're going to see a block here that says Firebase is verified. So this is going to say, basically, we're going to check Firebase to see if this user is verified or not. So if successful after creating an account, then we're going to do another if statement, is verified or not. So is it verified? Then we're going to sign in. If not verified, we are going to do a little dialog window. And then we're going to grab this Firebase Authentication block right here. And you're going to basically check within this block right here if the email has been sent to your actual email account successfully. So if the task has been completed, then it's going to be sent. If it's already been done, then we're going to do another toast message, for example, which is what we're going to do. A toast message is just a little thing that pops up on screen that is just a quick little thing, basically, that says, hey, you win, or something like that. So email sent, and then we're going to do another toast message. Email has been sent. Okay, so what this is doing is just running in the background after you've created a user account. And then if it is verified, we're going to do another toast message. Yay, you logged in. Now, of course, there's going to be other things. Obviously, maybe we'll make a profile page in the next tutorial video, and you can log into that page and mess around with your profile, like adding an image. Since you already know how to upload an image to the database, you can upload an image specifically to your profile and all that fun jazz. So I'm going to show you that in the next video. So after we've done this, we're going to actually copy this entire block, because we're going to be checking this exact same thing when we actually sign in the user. So I'm just going to name this whatever. Doesn't matter. If you want to name it something generic so that you know what it is and use it across your other applications, you can, which is probably highly recommended because you can't just copy and paste things sometimes. So put that in there. This is going to be when we try to sign in after we've created an account. So no matter what, we're going to check if the user is verified. If the user is verified, they can log in. If they're not verified, a notification for a dialog window will pop up saying, hey, email verification has been sent. Please click OK to, confirm this. And then when you click OK, it'll either say that, hey, the email has been sent, or an email has already been sent for this actual case. So let's run this application. Click update, click open, and now we're going to click create user. Okay, email verification. We sent an email to verify from VireChat. I know it's just very generic. Email has been sent. Now, if we click create a user, it's going to say something along the lines with a toast if we ended up putting that toast in there. So this will actually check this message right here. We can actually put this in a toast message as well. and this will say, hey, this user has already been created or something like that. And then you won't have to worry about somebody doubling up their email. Now we're going to go check our email for a second. I'm going to refresh my email here, and there is the verification link for our application. So it's going to just be a generic email that says, hello, follow this link to verify your email for this application, which is Firebase tutorial, firebase.com. If you didn't ask for this email, you can just ignore this and not even have to worry about it. So I have 2 of them in here. I think this is my old one because I was messing around with stuff earlier. So yes, that is the other one. So make sure that you click on that link so that we can actually sign in. So we haven't actually set up a sign in option yet. So let's go to our sign in button. Let's go down to our component buttons or component blocks. And then we'll go all the way down to Firebase Authentication again. And then we're going to sign in with a username and password. Now this will also check if your username and password is correct or not. So sign in with email. This was DNA, app development, and then we did password test 1. The password test 1. And this sign-in method, so component sign-in user complete, this little error message will say, hey, either your password is incorrect or hey, you have not completed your verification. So let's do this error message right here. So you can mess around with this after the fact if you want to, but you can just put like a password that doesn't actually match with that email if you want to, and just check to see what that error message is, because I know it just says something generic about, hey, your password is incorrect. So let's run this again and try to sign in without verifying yet. We haven't verified anything yet. We're just signing into our application, or trying to sign in at least, to see if it'll work. And if it doesn't and says, hey, we need to verify, then that is perfect. That means that we've done everything correctly. So sign in user, email verification has been sent. Okay. Email sent. Sign in user, same thing's going to pop up. Email has already been sent. Now that means we need to go to our email, refresh this. And here is the email right here. I have verified my email, and then I'm going to go back into the application, click sign in. Yay, you logged in. Perfect. Now, when we click create user, the email address is already associated with another account. That is perfect. That means that we have successfully created our user inside of our Firebase authentication. Now we're going to go back to Google Chrome. We're going to refresh our list of users. Now, it's very hard to see on our mobile version of the Firebase console. So we're going to click the 3 lines, go to desktop site. Now, every user has a unique ID. The user ID right here, this is a generic user ID when the user has successfully logged in. Now, I'm going to show you one quick thing when we actually log into the account. So we're going to go back into Sketchware. We're going to go into on sign in user complete. We're going to create a string, and you're going to use this for the next video, called user ID. Okay. Now this string is going to be placed in our yay you logged in user ID. We're going to go down to our component. We're going to go all the way down to Firebase authentication again, and we're going to get the user ID to a string, and then we're going to set it to a text. Now, I'm not going to set this to a text in a future video, only because you don't want to be able to see that, I guess. So you don't want other people to see your user ID, right? So sign in user, and this is going to be our generic ID for that user rather than our ID that we've been giving our user, which is Sally, for example, or Jim Jam. We gave those users an actual profile in the last few videos. So when we go to our database, for example, if you remember that, we basically gave a username right here for Sally as their actual username. And that's not beneficial at all at any means, because we want to check if the user is logged into an email and password. And then if they are, then they have access to that user ID if they are actually logged in, and they can edit their own information if they're logged in because they have access to that. So when we sign in, we're going to set that to a text view just for the sake of this video, to just give a little bonus near the end of this video. Don't forget, again, like and subscribe if you're enjoying learning about Firebase, because there's a lot more to learn about Firebase, and we're just creating a cool little chat application, and we'll work on the UI and all that kind of stuff near the end so that you have an actual chat application that you could use with your friends. So let's sign in. And now we have our generic user ID for that specific user that is signed in successfully. And then when we check things like our child key events and all that kind of stuff, that user ID will be sent to our database, and that user ID will hold all the information. It cannot be doubled up at all. So there's a generic user ID for every email and password signed in as well. And it'll be, instead of Sally, it'll be that user ID and password, or sorry, that user ID and password's UID. So hope you like this. Have a nice day. Enjoy. Bye-bye.